So hey, what's up? It's Keith. How are you doing? So this is the start of something that I've been planning all summer, which I'm just getting on with. A couple of things, like a lot of really heavy energy. For me, a lot of but it's all been good. This is very much this out of darkness cometh light of just really realizing and waking up more and waking up more and waking up more. So hey, here goes. I am a 54-year-old raw vegan. My life mission, my purpose at this time and for the rest of my life is to become ageless, to be eventually become breatharian in this body, in this dimension, is to interlace all the elements of wellness, which is firstly the physical, the body, because that is the main vehicle by which we are experiencing this dimension. To tune the spirit, which is the purpose, to tune and tonify all of those, to tune and tonify the emotions, because that's ultimately living in a human body. That is what humans like to do. They like to feel good. We're very it's just something that's not paid attention to. The spirit, the purpose, the bigger thing, the bigger direction. And if you're atheist, you probably don't care about me, but from an atheist point of view, that's a purpose. Everything's got to have a purpose. But in the super deep, ultimate mystical thing, that is the ultimate life. Not this one, is the spirit life. And finally, the mental, which is the mental, I always say, is the bastard child of or the sort of the child of the emotion and the spirit. When things are not right with those, that's what goes crazy. And then we sort of tune and tonify that mainly through meditation and staying present and mindfulness, because the mental will eat you up. So what I've been doing this entire year is stripping things back, not taking supplements. Other than around the eclipse, I took reishi because I was going absolutely mental. And in my whole spiritual journey, I am glad that I've become more sensitive. I just got to learn to deal with those energies as they come on. Was not my first experience. I completely flipped out last year during the eclipses. And like I said, it's all good. It's all good because that's what I want, is a sensitivity, that awareness of the subtle energies. And I want that on every level. And the only way that you're going to totally get it on the physical level is to become more subtly aware and sensitive on all those other levels that I talked about. Being aware of your body, knowing that something's up, of just, and getting all of those things stacked up, that becomes a part of becoming a fully conductive, operating human being. And especially being over 50, of where you're kind of left a lot of that stuff alone. Of that kind of owns you, and you start operating, if it's available to you, because a lot of people wind up becoming super bitter, and angry about choices that they made. But if you just always realize that when you found your darkest moment, or the various avenues of darkness, it just is showing you what you need to head away from, and bringing more light into who you are. So this is about MSM powder. Here I am, 3 minutes 50 in, but everything is connected. So a part of my whole trajectory this year is to become more fit, to become more amazing physically, to be more attentive with my body beyond just eating well. Always been an athletic person, and in the time that I actually sort of stopped working a proper job, I became a little bit sedentary, especially because of the internet, you could say, but also by choice, just because I kind of have a deep side to me, and I need to explore all those avenues. And now, I just say that, again, this body is the ultimate thing in which we're experiencing life. So in 2012, which I was 49, I started becoming aware of some issues that I was having specifically with my right knee. which I had a surgery when I was younger. Don't know if that contributes to or not, but this specific problem was new. So it wasn't like an old injury or anything like that. A lot of things I had with this surgery, because I had a bone cyst when I was like 14, and I broke my leg terribly when I was really into playing soccer, and wound up having a pin put in there, and yeah, a lot of stuff there. But so the point is just that in 2012, I really started getting an old man sort of thing with my knees. And if you ever look at people that have completely jacked up knees, they walk upstairs sideways. They don't face the stairs front way and walk up frontwards. I don't know why that is. It just, I guess it kind of lets off a little bit of stress on the knees, I reckon. But I caught myself doing that, and I can tell you that I don't accept anything. Anything is just getting old or any of that kind of thing. So I really went on a mission. I didn't solve it all at once, but I am there now. So again, I stripped away all of the stuff, extra stuff with this year of just working basically on my diet, putting my funds into being sproutarian, being old school raw, and that's 90 to 100% of what I do. Raw is 100%. I have had a couple of occasional bonks with my new, just to be raw, to be open, to be honest, a couple of bonks with expending myself too much, and I ate some cooked food, which I don't even have, like, as you know, I don't even have a oven or a stove in my kitchen, but I do have a slow cooker, so I cooked up some quinoa, which I usually sprout, just to get more calories in me, because it was really hardcore hit the wall, like on 2 occasions in this recent 3 or 4 weeks of me doing Ashtanga and really pushing up my hardcore physical activity. So, God, if that isn't me. 7 minutes in and I haven't even started talking about MSM. So I added MSM in the last week. I got it from Earthshift Products. It's like $11.99, and it's $16 by the time it arrives at your door, and its shipping is free if you go over $99 on Earthshift. So there's going to be some writing. I'm trying to really connect in deeper with what I do, and I'm actually sort of at this point trying to connect with, like, possibly getting back into doing consultations again, as I used to do 6 or 7 years ago. And so I really do just want to connect in deeper with the sort of more scientific left brain stuff. The right brain stuff is kind of going to be what I'm going to talk about here. And so what I get that I didn't see online is just that MSM assists in hydration. It's definitely helpful for connective tissue. I have been using MSM cream with vitamin E oil with DMSO, putting it in my hair and putting it on my face and putting it on my hands. These are all sulfur-based products, which really assist in sort of moving nutrients through the body. And I'm going to say, which I didn't really read it anywhere, but it really assists in the sort of liquidness of the body, of what the body needs to be. Yeah, because we're 95% water, and the things that really go wrong with the body you'll always find are associated with stagnation and with parts of the body sort of getting hard, which has to do with calcification, from various pathenogens and everything that sort of eventually want to take over your body, using you as a host. And yeah, so you need my big thing is just that I feel that it really helps, especially with cell walls, like each individual cell. Like, I believe that that's really a cause of cancer. Not a cause of cancer, one of the sort of things that aids in cancer. Cancer is not just one thing. So it's just in general, this perversion of the body from its ultimate youthful state is this sort of hardening of the cell walls. So in my experience, what I'm going to say is that MSM assists in this sort of absorption or this making the body more liquid. So I've added MSM on. I'm keeping it going. What I'm doing at this time, I'm working on trying to take as much MSM as possible. You need to start slow because otherwise you'll be sitting on the toilet for a long time. So you need to get your body used to handling that amount. Which right out the door I fucked up on, which is typical Keith. Like I'm not a person that's moderate. I'm like light is on or off. Like I just in general I can tell you that like I think one of my mantras is that moderation is for pussies. I'm not saying that out loud. I'm saying that seems to be a mantra within myself of like just fucking go for it. So what I started doing like with a couple of things, I'll get on with a morning ritual, but one of the first things I'm doing is I wake up in the morning, I walk out here, put a teaspoon, today I moved up to 2 teaspoons, but originally it was 1 teaspoon of MSM powder in a half-gallon ball jar, filled it to the top with water, gulped that down, and then I went in to do my 108 breaths of mindfulness with my 108 mala beads. And yeah, and so I'm slowly adding it on. Of course, as you know, may or may not know, that lemon juice neutralizes the sort of bitter taste. This particular MSM, I'm not getting that bitter taste. So that's pretty interesting. Put it into salad dressings, put it into everything. You know, that's ultimately what I like to do, is sort of take it in that like form, like water, like putting it in there, but also putting it and lacing things into like all the food that you're doing. Let thy food be thy medicine and thy medicine be thy food. And so I'm always putting stuff in there. So what I've been doing besides this is there's some other constituents that are super helpful with connective tissue, which are turmeric, obviously. Get what you can afford. I think one of the best turmerics that you'll find is the sort of medicinal quality one from Earthshift Products. Not a commercial for Earthshift Products, but they do have some amazingly cheap and next level stuff. So they have a medicinal grade turmeric. And then you always want to mix that with black pepper for absorbency in the body. And so what I am doing that has become my drink is I start with gynostemma tea in the form of spring dragon tea from Dragon Herbs. I make that up in a drink with turmeric, black pepper, cinnamon, clove. I'm going to start throwing some other antibacterial stuff in that drink once I can afford them. Coconut oil, stevia, and I blend that up. And that's my drink. And I sometimes have maybe 2 of those before I head off to like yoga. I'm also using aloe vera in salad dressings most of the time. So I get a fresh aloe vera. I fillet that bad boy, about a 3-inch piece of it, especially when it's down on the bottom. They get a little bigger. A lot of different techniques for getting that gel out of there. Use that in a salad dressing with sesame seeds, something sour, a bit of salt, bit of oil, some water, some probiotic stuff in there, some Rejuvelac, some cabbage water. Blend that up. That's my salad dressing or my sauce that goes on generally my intermittent fasting meal plan. Throw some MSM in there now is what I'm doing now that I'm getting my tolerance up there. I'm trying to get up to, I would like to get back to doing a 1/4 cup of MSM a day. So that's where I'm at. And again, I want to say be careful with MSM, because if you take too much, shit will come out the back door like nobody's business. But if you build it up slowly, it's no problem. Same with starting other rigid routines, juicing, stuff like that, yeah. Video is over. Support me by supporting my music. Links in the drop down. secondculture.bandcamp.com, second-culture.com. In the drop down, you will find those links there that I just mentioned. You will find my little bit of writing that I'm going to do of trying to get more present, because the talking here is my right brain self. The writing forces me to like engage left brain, which I actually do have when I write. It's not all crazy shit like you see here. So there'll be a bit on MSM down there. And then finally down lower, my bio. All right, it's Keith, bright blessings. I will see you in love, in magic. Namaste.